In today's fast-paced real estate landscape, success demands more than surface-level expertise. It requires insight, adaptability, proven strategies, discipline, and the ability to take risk. The Agent Brew podcast blends candid conversations with wisdom from industry leaders who've walked the path before you. Think of us as your strategic pit stop to fuel your real estate journey. From the crossroads of the world and the heart of Times Square, welcome to the Agent Brew, a podcast that percolates real estate insights. I'm your host, Eric Zollinger of Realty Co. Welcome to our viewers and listeners to another week and episode of the Agent Brew. This week, we welcome my friend Corey Wayne from New York. Corey, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So it's great to it's nice to see us both in professional attire, with full transparency. Usually Corey and I see each other when we're out on the bike doing our weekly seasonal rides for our charity rides. And I don't know, have you officially become a funky monkey this year?
I am not a funky monkey. I'm a team hot cakes for ALC, and I started my own team for the East Coast ride.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and get started. And why don't you tell us your elevator pitch? What's your business? Do you have a mission statement? And, just in a nutshell, explain who you are.
Yeah. So just following your prompts here, I started in the real estate industry back in 2013 when I moved here from Tennessee. I've been in the industry ever since getting here. And currently, I run a small team of 3 people at New York, and the name of our team is Highline to Hamptons. And if I had to say we have a mission statement, it would be happy to help.
That's great. I always love it when people really put time and effort into the mission statements, how you set up your company, because it really does guide you and lead you, and especially if you have team members. How long have you had the actual members part of the team, or do they come with you to New York?
They're both new agents, and they both came on in February. So since February, we've been doing weekly team meetings and partnering together on all of our deals.
Fantastic. So we'll get to this during the gratitude game, but what brought you to New York, one, and two, why real estate?
So I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee. My whole family's there. They're still there. And growing up, my best friend's grandmother actually ran a real estate company in our hometown. And I always really admired her. She was always interacting with people when we were out and about, and she knew someone everywhere we went, as most real estate agents seem to do, especially in a small town. And just how she, interacted with people. I loved her energy. And then also she always had a brand new car, and I'm a car guy. So I was like, I want to be her when I grow up. And it just really, sunk in during those years of being around her. And from a very young age, I always wanted to be a real estate agent.
So when you moved to the city, did you have another career prior?
I didn't have another career prior. I mean, I went to school for journalism and electronic media. My first job out of school was advertising sales at our local CBS television station. So I was doing advertising sales for them for a little while before I moved to New York. But when I moved to New York, the first thing I did was enroll in real estate school. I got my license, and I started with a small firm at that time.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Any particular mentors during your time?
I've pulled from a lot of different people throughout my tenure in the industry. Currently, I'm doing regular catch-ups with Richard Grossman. He's the old president of BHS in New York. And we get coffee from time to time, and he's been amazing.
Yeah, it's the name I haven't heard for quite some time. He was a really great agent back in the day, too. Have you had a traditional coach per se, as far as, with check-ins, or are you more of your self-motivated kind of agent?
Yeah, so I've had various kind of coaching and mentors over the years. Each firm kind of has their own little mentorship program. I had a really great sales training program when I was at Triple Mint, which is now the agency. I was also at Compass for a while, and they had a lot of internal programs. And I also signed up with Shirag Shah and did some coaching with him last year. And so as of right now, I am mostly just catching up with Richard, as I mentioned, and leading the team, which if you've ever led a team, I feel like you're also kind of learning yourself as you're teaching them. So it's kind of a nice symbiotic relationship with them.
It is difficult, and it's almost like being a coach of a team and still trying to compete, right? Because your focus and attention goes in so many different directions. If you were just selling, you could just knock it out of the park all the time. But when you're adding all those extra responsibilities and uh, requirements and uh, deadlines and costs, it's not easy. So congratulations for really pushing yourself. It's interesting because we come from different generations. I started in 1999. I was 25 years old at Corcoran. I just come from a performance background. I didn't know anybody here, and so similar to you, coming from, I guess you were selling advertising, but did you find that role directly helped you in real estate, or um, you're starting from scratch as far as relationships and all of your prospecting per se?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I talk about that a lot, actually. I feel like if I had a prior career to real estate, I'd probably be a lot more successful today than I am. Moving to New York, I knew no one and really built the business that I have today from scratch. Um, but it's been good. It's been a slow and steady incline, and I'm very happy with the way the trajectory's taking off. And I like to remind myself of that old storybook, "Slow and steady wins the race."
Yeah.
So that's what I tell myself.
Well, congratulations. What do you find being biggest your biggest challenge at the moment?
My biggest challenge at the moment, I don't think I've faced it yet, but I do have an underlying fear that my lack of brand, that leaving a big firm, you're really rooted in the brand of the firm, and it holds a lot of weight with some people. And now that I'm no longer with that big brand brokerage firm, um, I'm a little curious to see how that impacts, or if it impacts my listing ability going forward, or my business going forward.
Got it. So in your new firm, do you feel as supported as you did in the last?
It's a very different structure, I would say. Yeah.
So you've worked at several different firms throughout your career, and you've always been a resale agent. You haven't stopped and done new developments here or there. You've been able to do that build you were talking about earlier, which is so important. I've started my resale career 4 times, and it's every time it gets even harder because you've lost so many people before. You just lose that momentum. So with you starting so young, what has been the one through factor that keeps driving you, and when you change firms, has it been because of what the firm is offering, or is it because of certain people that you feel you're motivated by them?
I see. So, I mean, every transition has come with its own kind of, you know, draw. And I'm very much someone who goes with the flow and also takes things as they come. And for each time I moved, it wasn't like I was necessarily looking for a move. It just, all of the kind of situation, all of the factors made sense, and I did it. Now, the most recent one was more of a jump than the ones prior, leaving, like I said, that big box firm and coming to our New York and starting my own team. That was probably one of the bigger leaps that I'd taken.
One might say also because it's from a more traditional firm to what's very popular these days, which is 100% firm. So it's 100% on you, right? And you're driving every single aspect of the business. And I guess what made you decide to go to R instead of just doing it on your own?
I felt like having R behind me, and R's been around for a really long time too. I mean, they do have an established presence in New York City.
They're one of the largest firms too, which I didn't know until last year.
Yeah, and our president is a regular correspondent on the Today Show. So she's always on the Today Show, getting the name out there, getting the brand out there. So it wasn't like I was going from like 60 to zero. And I felt like R was a nice middle ground between, big box, middle ground, and then starting my own firm from scratch. So I'm really comfortable with the choice that I've made to stay at R.
Good for you. And your team members, how did you find them? Were they friends that just came into the business or
Um, Similar to my transitions before, it was very organic. One guy actually lives a block away from me, and I just know him from the neighborhood. And he told me that he was doing his real estate license and was thinking about getting into real estate. And I offered him to come onto the team, and encouraged him to interview with other teams prior to agreeing to come to the team. And he was down, so he's one person. The other person I met through friends. She'd been working in a leasing office at the same building for the last 10 years. So more on the property management and leasing side. And, we met one day for coffee and we just clicked. We really hit it off. And I knew she was going to be a super great asset to have given her experience as well.
fantastic? So let's start talking about some of your wins over your career, Corey. Um, do any come to mind that are of personal, major value to you, and why?
Yeah. So, um, the biggest one for me was really in 2018 when I came back to the agent side of the business. I took a 3-year hiatus myself and did property management for about 3 years. And when I came back to the agent side of the business, I was deep into rentals. I joined a rental firm and I did 85 rentals that year with an average of a 50% closing rate, which means, Eric, that I took out a new person every other day of the year, right?
Wow.
To achieve those numbers. I was the number one agent at the firm that year. And, it really for me was a pivotal moment because I came from a very stable environment in property management with a salary and benefits. And I was coming back to the commission structure of real estate agent life. And it just, being number one agent that first year back in the business really kind of quieted all the voices that said, like, you can't do this, you're not good enough, you're never going to be successful at this. And it really gave me the motivation and like determination that I needed to continue on this path since 2018.
Well, if you were the number one agent in all those deals, that certainly gave you the bank too. So, um, good. Oh, okay. So, I guess I never knew that about the property management side. Uh, what were the drivers that led that?
Purely financial reasons. Like I said, I moved here in 2013. I got my real estate license. I was 23 years old. I didn't know a soul in the industry. The firm that I started with, I thought was really going to be, it was a small family owned firm. I thought I was going to get a lot of mentorship. I ended up kind of being thrown out into the water with very little support. And I, I
You
was
don't know
young.
what you don't know at that point, right? Like
Right.
you.
I didn't know what was going on. And, it was like move back to Tennessee or get a job. And this property management leasing job came along and I took it. And every time I wanted to quit, they promoted me. So I stayed for longer than I expected to stay. And, yeah, after about 3 years of doing that, though, I came to the realization that, I love real estate, and what I love about real estate is not in the property management world. It's in this world.
Sales is always interesting and fun and different each day. And I can't say that management property management can be something that one absolutely loves every day, given what they have to deal with. So I always like to say it's the first rung on a ladder of real estate because it's the one that most people don't want to get past because it's so traumatizing. But good for you. So you were you able to take any of those clients from your rental buildings during that time? No.
I didn't have. I didn't think of it.
Right. It's always hindsight is 2020, right? I wish that I would have kept all those contacts um, at the time, years later. I'm like, oh, I would have wanted to reach back out to them. But you think, oh, I'm done with this. I'm not going to have to utilize that Rolodex any longer. Um, so, Corey, what is another win that you're proud of and why?
Well, yeah. So, like I mentioned, after 2018, I've been on this slow and steady climb. And just this month, Eric, our team put over $4.8 million of sales into contract.
Congratulations. That's great. Uh,
Thank
and
you.
and with this group of teammates, the three of you, how long have you been officially together?
Officially since February of this year.
Well, that's only like 3 months. So good for you. My gosh. Wow. Obviously, I think the market is doing a little better this year than the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
Hopefully for you and the others on your team, you found that as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The past 2 years we've been okay, but this year has just started off so strong, and I'm hoping that it only continues on that trajectory.
So your business, what would you say? Do you do more sellers, more buyers?
Right now, I'm primarily a buyer's agent.
And how has the recent NAR lawsuits affected you? Is it just another day at the office because you know how to articulate your value, or did you find it difficult for um, being able to have the other side understand your value?
Yeah, so I think I think that the NAR conversation is a great way for us to establish ourselves as professionals in our industry more than anything. At the end of the day, this is a service and it's a luxury service. And people pay a lot more for interior designers to design their homes um,
Good point.
than 6%. So all that aside, I think that these conversations just help establish us as true partners in the process with our buyers. And that's how we, convey that message to them. Like, we're not here just to show you stuff that you found online. We're not here, just to turn the key. Our role here is to be a partner with our buyers or our sellers and to really guide you through the nuances and the ups and downs that come along with any deal. And that's something I'm teaching my team now, like I have Liz going through her first sales deal and she's like, I feel like this isn't a regular deal. And I'm like, there are no
There are
regular.
no regular deals, right? So Corey, I'm curious, starting so young and then also working with several firms and doing leasing and property management, you've been able to scale yourself pretty quickly, especially for not having grown up here. Um, what would you contribute to being your biggest point of success? Is it marketing? Is it, what do you do that is driving your business?
I would say the number one thing that I focus on is my Instagram, honestly. I've maintained a very strong brand throughout every firm of how I'm presenting myself, not only as a human among humans, but as a real estate professional in the industry. And that's something that I've really put a lot of thought into over the years and tried to maintain a brand that way.
Good for you. I mean, it always comes down to brand, right? No matter what you're looking to buy, um, what company, what person, it's always your brand. Uh, do you utilize technology like in the CRM? Does your company have one that they provide you, or have you found something in a third party that you really like?
Yeah, so right now, the firm doesn't really provide anything like that. So we're all on our own as far as technology goes. And my team, I packaged together a few technology systems to create kind of everything that you would expect to have at any firm. So we have Monday.com, that's our CRM.
Oh my gosh, you just made my day. I love Monday.com. Monday.com. We're using it here at Realty.co, and we started using it when I was at Douglas Elliman in Texas, and it's a game changer. I mean,
Yeah, it's been really great. I definitely am not utilizing it to its full capacity, but it's right now it's working for what we need it to do, and I'm excited to use it to help grow as we grow as a team. And it talks to Mailchimp, it talks to everything that we needed to talk to. It talks to help us with our marketing as well.
wow. So are you using both the project management portion along with the I think it's Monday.com CRM?
We're just using the Monday.com CRM right now.
Good to know. I have thought about also taking Monday.com into my real estate world and the transaction side because it just is so user friendly and uh, it makes actually the tasks fun to do because you just get to ding everybody and see it in the flow chart. So uh, you just made my day today. All right. Well, what else do you use?
Mailchimp, Canva, Gmail, and of course FaceTime. Right. I recently showed a client something over FaceTime that we later put an offer in on and signed a contract on. So any piece of technology we can get our hands on that clients are using, we're using.
Understood. So, with Instagram being your biggest claim to fame, but also marketing tool, how do you make your videos for there? Is it something like you do a light cut, or do you use TikTok? Uh, what's your secret?
I'm not like up with the times on TikTok as much as I should be. I know there's a ton of agents who really have blown up on TikTok. But for me, I've just kind of, I started out doing videos in my apartment during COVID, just like set up with my phone and a light and kind of honestly, I tried to do as little edits as possible and try to do a full through without any editing in the beginning. Then I did some little edits, and at this point, I have a production team that does all of my shooting, all of my editing. They help me with scripts, they help me with ideas. So at this point, I'm using a full production team for all of my videos.
It's really exciting to see the younger generation just really leverage it and harness technology and run with it because when I started, the only marketing that we had was Barbara Corcoran on top of a taxi cab. Versus now you have 4 minute full length movies by Compass agents. As soon as you get inside, so a big difference. Uh, I know the answer to this next question, which is, Corey, do you do anything besides work? Do you have any passions in life that you like to do any sports?
Yeah, so as you know, my biggest passion is cycling. Got into that back in 2023 with the Cycle for the Cause, which is the East Coast AIDS ride that goes from Boston to New York and raises money for the LGBTQ Center here in New York City. And this year I'm doing AIDS Life Cycle on the West Coast for the first and last time because this is their last year, which is from San Francisco to LA.
545 miles.
Yeah.
And you step off next Saturday. So I don't know if this will be actually produced yet, but we certainly wish you and all the participants a really easy ride for the week, given that 7 days. But you're going to have so much fun. I mean, it's a week that changes your life, and my life was changed every year from it, just on the people I meet and the people you are with that you don't, might never see again. And then you'll meet your best friend there that you'll travel the world with, like I did with my friend Carl, still to this day. So good luck with that.
Thanks.
Did you do a lot of cycling in Tennessee, or is this something that you picked up here in New York?
I've always been a biker, but more of like a tool around town on my, fixie type of biker. And 2023 is when I really got serious about it and got the road bike and all the gear, and picked up this really expensive hobby.
But the good news is spandex lasts a long time.
and we look so good in it.
Exactly. All right, so let's play the gratitude game. This is the rose thorn bud, but we use a little twist of coffee since we are the agent brew. Uh, we start off with the aroma, and then we go to the actual brew. So the aroma, when you're, and I thought of this morning as I was grinding my coffee beans. It just smells so rich and aromatic. Um, what motivates you in the morning, like that first uh, breath of the aroma?
Well, honestly, the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning is my dog. She's she's gotta she's gotta eat breakfast and I've got to take her out. So she is honestly my number one motivating factor. I'm definitely one of those dog dads who treats her like she's a human, and my life kind of revolves around her in most cases.
How old is she, and what breed?
She'll be 4 in August. She's an English cream Labrador.
Oh wow. What's the weight?
She's a slim 60 pounds.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Starbucks 52. So that's a big difference between the two. Um oh, it's so great. 4 years old is always like the sweet years. So moving on to the that first cup of coffee, the brew that sustains you. One might say it's also, what is your why?
What is my why? Honestly, my why has pivoted a lot in the past year. Obviously, money is a driving force because we have to have money to live. But also, since creating the team, it really has been invigorating to just help other agents and kind of see them grow and develop their skills. And I think my why has become being a mentor to them and a coach to them, and being a part of that process, give them a career that I enjoy.
That's great. It's always good to give back, right? And especially when you're able to influence the next generation. So on the flip side of that, we have the thorn, which is the grind. Uh, that are always annoying. I usually end up dropping them as I go to throw them away, and then Starbucks gets them everywhere. Anything that's providing you frustration at the moment, or a little bit of anxiety?
I mean, I think it's the same as everybody right now. It's just kind of the uncertainty in the world, right? Like, yes, my business has been doing really well this season, but there's always that, like, how long is this going to last? As when you're in a commission-based sales role, I could not see another check for 12 to 6 months. So, that's definitely the grind always.
Well, I will just point out, we really haven't had this talk, but Realty Co is there to support you as an agent. So cash flow is the number one uh, key to success for any company. So know that we are always a phone call or just a click away on the computer for you to access your earnings when you need them. So a little shameless plug there, since you did mention it. Uh,
That's a great service.
what about what are you looking forward to most? So this would be the bud, or as we like to say, the fresh beans.
What I'm looking forward to the most is just developing the brand that we're creating with Highline to Hamptons, and seeing that grow, from what it is today, which is our small team, to a team that has listings in the area, around the Highline, as well as helping people secure homes out in the Hamptons, which is where the kind of team began.
Good for you. And were you the one that came up with that name?
So I'm a big alliteration fan. I love an alliteration. So I wanted it to be something that was either two letters of the same, and I currently live and have lived since 2019 near the High Line here in Chelsea, and I've helped clients secure homes out in the Hamptons as well. So when I finally connected those two, I was like, High Line to Hamptons.
It's really brilliant. I mean, congratulations. That's awesome. So that's your branding across the board, right? As far as who you are as a person, your handles for social media. It harkens back to when Dottie Herman first took over Douglas Elliman, when it was Prudential Douglas Elliman, and they were able to say from Manhattan to Montauk.
Ah, that's good.
So, uh, all right. So we've come to my favorite part of the show, Corey. Um, Not that you're that old, but when you think back to those early days as an agent, if you could give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Uh, do your due diligence.
Okay, how so?
Like I mentioned, I started with a small firm. It was a family-owned firm, and I thought family-owned, I'm going to be treated like family. Um, Not the
Yeah.
case. So that was a good learning lesson for me until like really just vetting out every opportunity and not going in so blindsided, going in so blindly rather.
It's always a tough lesson to learn, right? Like you think people will always do the right thing until money is involved, and then they don't. Or you think somebody's going to live up to everything verbal they said before that contract or that next job, and lo and behold, if it's not in writing, it's not going to happen. So uh, it's always a tough lesson to learn, but once it's learned, it's the best one. Uh, do you have any favorite quotes that you would like to share with us today?
My favorite quote that gets me through every day is live and let live. And that comes from, everything is going to happen how it's supposed to happen. And as long as we're focused on doing the next right action in our day to day lives, everything's going to work out and everything's going to be okay.
That's great. I chose this earlier today, Corey, because it spoke to me, and it kind of made me think of you too, since the bike ride is coming up. Uh, it's from Oprah, and so it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. The ability to triumph begins with you, always. Again, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. The ability to triumph begins with you, always.
That's beautiful.
So, with that, we hope you triumph in the final AIDS life cycle, San Francisco to LA. And we hope you triumph continually in this new venture with your team. And, it's going to grow, it's going to expand and contract. But I think you're really onto something great. And I'm just so happy and proud of you. And we hope to have you back on a future episode or season of Agent Brew.
Thank you so much, Eric. It was really a pleasure to be here.
So, reminding all of our viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning into this episode. Join us again next week as we navigate and explore an agent's real estate journey. I'm your host, Eric Zollinger, reminding you it's a great day for real estate. The Agent Brew podcast is brought to you by RealtyCo. RealtyCo is your partner in real estate, bringing you game-changing benefits and services to empower your business. Visit realtyco.com for more information.